Hey guys, it's Logan and Chad here with Hydra 572. Let me get started by saying I'm really sorry I missed. I didn't even do updates for November or December, I think. And I want to make excuses, but everything I come up with just sounds kind of lame because college is challenging, but not really the way you would think. Like, college is pretty much just laundry and reading. That's like the two major activities that were challenging in college were laundry and reading. But like I've told you guys before, I was taking 17 credits and it was just a lot. And as we finished with our last round of exams and then went into finals, it was just too much to do most of anything other than do the work and fall asleep. So that's what I've been up to. Chad's back on leave after recruit training, so we thought we'd do an update while we can do it together, and we have lots of stuff and things arrayed to talk about. So yeah, that's pretty much what the video is going to be. It's going to be kind of freeform and not highly edited, and we're just going to be talking and rambling about stuff
and things.
Yeah. So Chad, tell them about recruit training.
It was less impossible than I thought it would be. Like, I thought there would be a lot of like impossible tasks they'd give us. It was, and don't get me wrong, it was very difficult. I'm not saying it was easy. It was just not impossible, if you know what I'm saying. I remember hating every day of it, but I'm looking back at it with fond memories now and telling stories that make me laugh. It's weird. Like, before I went, I'd watch the movie Full Metal Jacket in the first, what is that, like third half?
The only part I've watched.
And the boot camp parts. I'd watched that before, and it's like, that's funny. You know, and now it's just, yeah, that's what happened. Except we had, like, 4 private piles instead of just 1.
Well, you only had one person who actually, like,
That's true.
was a dangerous fuck up.
We had one guy get sent to the brig because he either he attempted or he just conspired to steal ammunition with the open threat of shooting one of the drill instructors, and he was apprehended before that could happen. That event could happen.
By way of comparison, everyone else was just stupid or otherwise a fuck up.
Useless.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, there is a lot of stupid people there. Like, I was telling, like, Logan was complaining about stupid people in college. I said, shut the fuck up. You know, are the stupid people who are too stupid to go to college? The military.
Yeah, my kind of stupid is a special kind of stupid. I was in 2 labs this semester, and in both labs I was amazed by this capacity people have to get a very clear and explicit list of instructions. First, put A into B, and then add C to the mixture, and then heat it up. And how people would fuck that up somehow. They would go, well, I thought it would go faster if we heated them up separate, and then I added them together in the wrong order. So I fucked up the lab. I don't know what we're going to do.
It's just all a fucking run.
I don't know. I mean, like,
Foobar.
what made you think that you should do 4 before 1? That's one of the good things about a numbered list, is you just do them in that order.
Push-ups.
And it's done. That's the whole point. As it turns out, stupid people are everywhere. It's just stupid people. If you're young and you're wondering when the part of your life where you have to put up with so many stupid people is going to be over, it's never. It never gets any better. In fact, it gets worse because there stops being an excuse. When people are like 16, it's like, you know, yeah, he's kind of useless and he's not doing anything with his life. 16, what do you want from him? Whenever everyone around you is like 18 and 19 and they're still that stupid and useless, it's worse somehow, I think.
Yes.
Chad talked about there were people, which I guess I wasn't surprised, but I kind of wish I was, that there were people that he had to put up with that were like at recruit training to be a Marine and had no motivation at all.
The motherfuckers, they did not take it seriously at all. Like, they went through recruit training like I went through high school. Like, just going through the motions to get it done. Like, not, they were putting in just enough to get by. They weren't putting any effort into anything, and like, which, you know, I watched a video before I left, and one of the things the guy said was, there will be people who make it through that you don't think deserve to make it through. And I thought, oh, I hope not. I'll bet you there'd be like one guy where it's like, yeah, he was okay. No, there was like 18 where it's like,
this was the part where they teach you how to kill people and not get killed.
not quite, that's MCT. Boot camp was mostly a lot of teaching discipline and getting everyone to the same level of ability. For example, MCMAP, you know, the Marine Corps Mixed Martial Arts Program. Or maybe it's just Marine Corps Martial Arts Program. Yeah, I think it's just 1M. But for that, we have a tan belt, which is like a white belt in karate. And that was a very basic, like, you know, proper, you know, basic warrior stance, the forward angles of motion, and lead hand punch, rear hand punch, the basics of fighting techniques. You know, which, you know, me being like into martial arts for a long time, like it was very dry, very boring to learn that. But you got to realize that some people, like, they've never been in any sort of aggressive situation in their life where they may have had to fight or even think about fighting. So yeah, you got to start somewhere. So basic training is very basic. You know, it's basic training. You know, I didn't come back from boot camp some sort of big badass, you know, Rambo, who can fucking take a dude out with a knife that he made out of a piece of rebar that morning. To understand that reference, you need to watch the new Rambo.
But he knows how to move, block, strike, strike, strike. That's pretty much just as good.
They have ditties for everything. So like when we're learning how to, the counter to a fucking lead hand punch, yeah, they call a jab a lead hand punch. You move, you block, and then you strike, 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 or whatever combination you want. And so a running joke that we've had is...
Don't use words like combination, you confuse people.
My bad.
A combination is when you're going to throw multiple punches, strikes, or other attacks in quick succession, one after the other, intending for one strike to set up the next. Carry on.
Carry on, aye, sir. Good evening, sir. Fucking... It was a running joke that we've been having, like, you know, hey man, don't fuck with me, I'm a tan belt, I know how to move, block, strike, strike, strike.
How long did you spend on that part? How long did you spend on MCMAP?
I don't know.
Like a week, 2 weeks?
I mean, it was like
Throughout?
1 to 3 hour sessions, maybe once a week or every other week. It wasn't like we just spent an entire week on that. It was like...
It's like the people who have never done anything with boxing before, did they get enough practice to where they're any more confident now, or like...
I should hope so.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't talk to anyone, actually. I went with the intention of becoming a Marine and not making friends. So that's what happened. I didn't open my mouth to fucking talk to anyone until like the 4th week.
Yeah, keep your fucking head down.
Yeah, I did.
There's no reason to identify yourself as someone who needs to be broken.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so college sucks. Marine Corps sucks more.
I like it though.
Everyone's stupid forever. Yeah, so we have some cool shit to talk about. Here is the DPMS AR-15 that I've had for a while now. As you can see, we put some furniture on it. This is all Hogue overmold stuff. Obviously, carbine length, fore-end. Free floating was an experience. The parts that I thought were going to be difficult about putting on a free float handguard were all really easy. Messing with the gas block couldn't have been easier. Bending the gas tube was pretty easy. Actually, the hardest part was tightening on this nut, and that was hard because Hogue sends with you this little pamphlet that says that you shouldn't use a strap wrench because you might over-tighten it, and so they give you this magical go-fuck-yourself wrench that's not good for anything. and you have to snap it together in tension on the gun. And I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm not even a car mechanic. I feel like I'm pretty good with my hands and relatively strong. My dad's better with his hands and stronger than I am, and we spent a good 45 minutes getting that wrench to snap together.
Yeah, it's a two-piece tool, by the way. You didn't explain the wrench.
I don't want to explain the wrench, because I think to explain the wrench I would have to submerge my head in ammonia for like 16 hours. Because that's what I assume led to the design of the wrench.
Watch, it's really easy. You just misread the instructions.
No. I read every word of the like 16-word instructions, because it was so matter-of-fact that it was shitty. It was like, all right, now you're going to use your pinky and your thumb to hold it together, and it's talking about something that you need to be like pressing with 30 pounds of force on. And it's like, and then you will take the small piece and shove it into the small hole. Great.
Good. Yes.
But yeah, now we have that set up, and honestly, before we had it set up, I wouldn't have listed movement in the handguard as a problem with the rifle. But now that there is no movement in the handguard, I really like it. We have the stock. I mean, same basic functionality as an AR stock. Changed out the pistol grip too. Those parts basically function the same. I'll say this is a little less wobbly than the other. Maybe a little lighter. I didn't measure. Maybe I should have. Yeah, did some work on this gun, and this is about as much work as I'm wanting to do. You know, people talk about how crappy the stock triggers on ARs are, and maybe I just haven't been spoiled by a $300 trigger yet, but I have no problem with the trigger on this gun.
Pull it goes boom.
Yeah, it's relatively simple, really. So I don't know if I've shown it since we put the optic on there, but I have a Vortex Crossfire 2. It's 1:4, and you look through it, and you pull the trigger, and it goes boom. So that's what that part does. So I'm pretty proud of this. I mean, airsofting people always modify their M4s and mag pull out their guns and all that kind of thing. And being able to do it on a real rifle for the first time was pretty special, I thought. Refloating a handguard's kind of a pain in the ass, though. So there's that. Oh, I turned 18 over the summer. And during the summer, I didn't really do it. I'm not sure why. I wasn't really comfortable with the idea yet, but I have been open carrying some, because in Colorado you can open carry at 18. No license or anything like that required, so I've been carrying around Smith & Wesson M&P 9. So that's been, you know, I always heard people talk about when you start carrying, you have a lot of anxiety to deal with, and I kind of thought I wouldn't have to deal with that. And I was basically right. I mean, it does make some situations a little more tense just when you're in a place that you're not, they don't have a sign that says you can't open carry, but you're not sure they'd be friendly to it, and you just don't want to give anybody working there a problem. You don't want to give any customers any problem. It can be tense, but I don't really see it being a problem. I haven't had any panic attacks or anything like that. I mean, I've only been noticed by maybe 5 people in 10 days of carry, something like that. Gun's been carrying fine. Remind myself who made this. This is a Blackhawk holster. Rides a little bit higher on my hip than I'd like, but you know, maybe.
You should try the angled carry.
I did try the angled carry. It's a little bit lower. For some pairs of pants, it's like more in the fit of, I don't know, it's more the curved part going across a curved part of your body, so it works a little better. For other pairs of pants, I like just the straight up and down vertical carry. So that's been fun. I haven't had any real incidents, and it's my first real time carrying a firearm, so that's pretty cool. I'll talk about that.
You haven't finished all your stuff yet.
I know. Taking a break. Oh, okay. Start at the beginning with this.
Alright. So, I have a government salary, or not a government, a grown-up salary now, which is weird coming from working at a donut store 2 days a week and making about $180 a month. Like, I have
Money.
And, so just for shits and giggles, Logan and I went to Cabela's. You know, we went on a field trip actually to several places. We went to Cabela's, Gander Mountain, and Bass Pro. And,
Is that it?
where else could we? No, it was just 3 stops.
Sports Authority.
We don't shop at Sports Authority. Sports Authority is pretty much out of business.
And they closed their gun section, and then they closed their store.
Yeah. They're still open, though, if you want to buy, like, the Thirst
Rags.
Quench gum.
Keep going. Tell them what you bought before this.
Before this, we went to, there's a rack of used wholesale guns, and there was a single barrel break action shotgun for $100, and I bought it with the intention of either turning it into a leopard gun, which is pretty much a sawed-off shotgun, or burying it. And that night we were hanging out right here, actually, and I was just playing with it, and I started to notice that when I would pull the trigger, the hammer would strike the firing pin, and the firing pin wouldn't move. So I thought it was frozen, and fucked around with that for a while. And then when I brought it up like this, I watched the hammer or the firing pin fall not all the way out, but
Like 4 mils.
yeah, it was at its lateral limit right here.
It was a concerning
fell
amount
here.
for a firing pin.
Yeah, and so we were just like, Logan, I don't think this is going to fire. So we looked at it for a very long time before we decided that we were going to drive out into the
Place where it's completely legal to test firearms
yes at 2:30 in the morning.
responsibly.
It's pretty much the side of a highway. I mean, we were pretty much positive it wasn't going to shoot anyway. So we went out. It was like negative go fuck yourself degrees. So we're all huddled up, and it didn't matter how many layers you have on. It gets that kind of cold in Colorado.
It's been like negative 20 here at night
Yeah.
this past couple weeks.
And so I stand up, cover my ears like that, point it at the ground, and click. Didn't fire.
Didn't mark the primer.
Didn't mark the primer. I think what happened was like the firing pin was broken. Like enough of it broke off to where it didn't stick out of the...
Yeah, when you had it open and you dry fired, basically, this was an old ass shotgun, so it had an external hammer, and the hammer would fall and it would hit the firing pin, and you'd be looking at the face where like the firing pin should have poked out, and the firing pin wouldn't poke out, which is why we were pretty sure it wasn't going to fire. Ended up not.
And then we went back on
Another field trip.
another field trip, back to the used gun rack, and I was thinking about just not getting anything. No, I was thinking about getting an M14.
Or like one of the Ruger equivalents.
Ruger ranch rifle. It was not a mini M14 or mini 14. It was a ranch rifle.
It was a thing on a used gun rack with other things.
But it was a little more than I wanted to spend. And then I found this gem, and I bought it for $200.
After trading in the $100 shotgun you bought.
And I talked them down from, what was it, like, they wanted $350 for it, and the shotgun had about $90 worth, the one that I traded in. And so I talked them down another $60 to a flat $200, and deal's a deal. And
Tell
now
'em what it is.
it's a Mossberg 590.
Boomstick.
It goes, you go chuk chuk, and it goes boom after you pull the boom switch. Basically,
Those are technical terms that he learned at recruit training.
technical terms. No, those are the official definitions.
Kept the bayonet.
Ah, yes. And for Christmas, my father bought OKC 3S, the official standard issue bayonet for the United States Marine Corps, which apparently you can only buy with a government ID, and he works for the government, and they asked to see his ID, and that happened to be the one they pulled out. And he said something like, you really don't think I'm over 18? And they said something to the effect of, no, we had to make sure that you were official. I guess, I don't know, he wasn't in a very clear mindset when he said it to me. I think.
He was tired.
He's tired. Anyway, this was my Christmas present this year. And the 590 has a bayonet lug. So now I have a shotgun with a bayonet. That became my new zombie main weapon.
Oh, it's pretty cool. The only other Ontarios we've had have been the Rat 1, which it's kind of like the difference between holding a Tenacious and then holding a PM2. Like, there's nothing wrong with the Rat 1, there's nothing wrong with the Tenacious, but, you know, the knife that a company kind of exists to make is a whole different thing. And this definitely, but yeah, it's a fixed blade as opposed to a folder, but it definitely feels much higher quality, much better sculpted for the hand.
Yeah, it was about 4 times more expensive.
Yeah.
I think. How much was the Rat one?
Let's go for like 30.
That was 130. So that's
A little over 4.
a little over 4.
Still haven't decided if I think this is a good idea or not.
Dude, I don't know how you can fit your fucking thumbs in there.
They haven't been broken that many times.
Like my...
It's one of those things where, like, I'm pretty sure your thumb would break, but I'm also pretty sure you wouldn't be letting go.
If my thumb started to break, I'm pretty sure I'd try to let go so that my thumb would stop breaking.
I don't think your thumb would let you let go.
And then I'd lose a thumb.
Yes. You're in a knife fight.
You're in a knife fight, sitting there grabbing your blade to break your thumb off.
No, maybe they hit your knife with another knife. That's not that weird. That could happen.
I guess so. This is actually a pretty large blade. I think this is 8 inches.
Notice how he doesn't know what 8 inches looks like.
Neither does he.
It's actually true. I'm terrible at eyeballing stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the joke we're making.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, he picked this up a day after I picked up this guy. I had some Christmas money and we went in, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to buy, and what I actually wanted, I was trying to get somebody to sell me a Mosin Nagant for like $100, and there was one Mosin Nagant in the 3 stores that we went to, and they wanted like $349, and I asked what was special about it, and they said nothing. So I wasn't getting a Mosin Nagant. And we were looking around, and we had plans to go shoot skeet, and so I ended up with a shotgun. And
I really had to twist his arm to try to talk him into buying a shotgun.
yes. So Mossberg.
Literally the words, "You should buy a shotgun." Okay, let's look at shotguns.
Fuck yourself. So Mossberg 500, just a very standard shotgun configuration. And I am thinking about accessorizing it eventually, and I have no money. So for now, we went out and I shot skeet for my first time, and I did very okay. I hit exactly half of what I shot at. But, you know, it was fun, and as far as home defense goes, I'm glad to add it to the collection. I think when I get around to upgrading, what I've got on here is a 26-inch barrel. I think I want to go to a 20-inch barrel, and then I can get a... Fuck, no, I forget. It's either a 6-round or an 8-round, too. I think... I'm hoping it's 8. It's probably 6.
Said every meal ever.
Okay. So yeah, I think I want to go to a 20-inch barrel and a flush magazine tube. I've been shopping around for stocks, but honestly, I just really like this stock and this recoil absorber. I don't think I'd shoot any better with a pistol grip. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the gun overall. I mean, it doesn't really mean anything that I'm telling you this, but so far it seemed very reliable.
We didn't check to make sure our heads were in frame when we leaned forward.
You lean forward, they get lower and closer to the camera. Yes. I've done this for a long time.
Trust me, I'm an expert.
Block, strike. So yeah, I mean, all I've shot out of it is 50 rounds of just nothing low brass, just for fun ammo. Yeah, I mean, recoil was completely manageable considering I was shooting nothing. All of the mechanicals seemed fine and everything like that. that millions of cops told you before I ever bought one. So, you know, whatever.
Shotguns are cool.
I enjoy shotguns. Why'd you bring that?
YouTube doesn't know I own it yet.
Oh. Tell them you own it.
I own a Taurus Judge. I bought it in fucking... There's still snow on the ground.
A year ago.
About a year ago. And I brought it over here several times before I left, thinking we'd make a video about it. We didn't. Yeah, I own the Taurus Judge Public Defender. 2-inch barrel, 2.5-inch cylinder, double action, 5-shot, 410 or 45 long Colt revolver. And I shot it this summer too, and holy shit, that is fucking loud. Like, I didn't plug my ear, and we were in Nebraska, and my family around there doesn't really believe in ear protection because they're farmers. That's just kind of the way of life. You just go shoot at things.
All farmers are just, fuck you.
So we had finished laying down fence for that day, and we're all hanging out in the shade. And I had been carrying this in my back pocket because it fits perfectly in my back pocket, and because I wanted to, really. Like, it's not like snakes were a real problem. Like, there are snakes there, and every now and then you do see one, but the point is I wanted to carry it on the off chance I got to shoot it, because I'd never shot it before, and I did, and fucking big old muzzle flash, and it felt like someone just took a hammer and just hit the barrel. Like, it so directly hit, transferred the energy into the bridge of my palm, and it was a weird feeling. It's, you know, pretty controllable, though. Like, surprisingly, I thought it would slip out of my hand a bit. Not the case. And all I heard for the next few hours was, whoop!
Yeah, no, I have pretty tough hands from just years of climbing and playing with guns and knives and all sorts of stuff that just requires you to do this kind of thing over and over again. I mean, I will sit there for hours watching television and just, wow, thanks, Cold Steel.
Yeah.
Just do that for hours. But still, every time we hang out and this comes out, I just do this until my entire hand is sore. You have no idea how addicting this is if you've never had a revolver to play with.
We'd be sitting there, and I'd start out with it, just like everything else. I'd start out with a new toy or something. I'd be playing with it, and about 20 minutes in, Logan just looks at me, sticks out his hand.
Playing with it for 20 minutes, he was getting sore.
Like, we've been friends so long that he doesn't even say anything. He just
can I play with it?
It's my turn for the thing.
One thing.
And he only wants it if I'm playing with it. Like it
Yes.
could be on the desk for like a few hours. I'll pick it up, and then he'll just instantly, I want that.
It looks fun. Over there it looked boring. In your hand it looks fun.
So yeah, I have that now. I've shot it maybe 25 times. Oh, I shot a squirrel with it in Nebraska too. Like, we were driving around shooting at things. It's in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, like dirt roads and no cell phone service. And my cousin and I were bored, and my uncle suggested that we went up to one of the fields and shot the prairie dogs. So we got a couple of 22s and a box of 22 ammo, which I was like, are you sure? You don't want something else? He goes, oh, it'll be fine. And he shows me this entire cabinet of 22 ammo. It's like, apparently he bought it wholesale before the whole shortage, just out of luck and good timing, I guess.
Yeah, I have a really nice 22 that I haven't shot in 2 years.
I shot my 22 in Nebraska too.
You fuck yourself.
And
What 22?
that's right.
Nothing.
Anyway, we were driving my car, my fucking shitty Caprice, which I still want to do a video about that too, about my car.
Yeah, well, it's dark.
It's dark now, yeah. 7:02. And
that's the first time since he's been back that he's given a civilian time. That's 1900 to you.
1902.
Yeah, do the fucking math in your head. Get really good at adding and subtracting 12 from things.
But we were driving along the fucking dirt road in my shitty Caprice with the windows down because my air conditioning doesn't work. And I was in my back pocket, and I see a squirrel running across the road, and I'm like, oh shit, a squirrel. Can I shoot it? You know, jokingly, because we drive around Superior all the time seeing squirrels, and like, hey, we should shoot at it, knowing full well that that's illegal in Superior. My cousin just goes, yeah, you should. And I was so excited that I didn't put the car in park or anything. The car is still rolling. I take my hands off the steering wheel, and I shoot at it twice, but since it's only a 2-inch barrel, I hit it with maybe 3 or 4 pellets, which was enough to, like, slow its movement. And then I go to get out of the car. I open the door of the still moving car. My cousin reaches over, throws it in park for me.
By the way, I don't know if you've ever put a moving car in park, but it makes a sound sort of like you killed a robot's baby.
Oh, it brought me back into the real world. like, oh, wait a second. It's getting away! So I went up to its, like, trying to crawl away body, and I shot it, and there was a little bit of face skin left.
You want to tell them how your zombie loadout's changed?
I have another new toy they don't know about. For graduation, my Uncle Paul sent me a Springfield 1911.
It also has a trigger that you pull to make go boom.
It's like Logan's, but different. A little.
There's so many little mechanical differences. Mine's not down here right now, but at some point I had a pretty good list of them, but just all the detents on everything. On the safety's different, slide release is different, hammer's different.
I imagine it's kind of like a car. No car is the same, and no 1911 is exactly the same.
Sort of like they were made by completely different people.
That too, but...
What are you looking at? I couldn't decide if that was a little bit of coating that had come off, or if you had done the shittiest job of cleaning the carbon off that I had ever seen.
Yeah. I still haven't had a field day with my weapons yet.
He came back, just, I'm going to clean everything on everything.
Yeah, and it didn't happen. Like, everything was so immaculately clean at boot camp. That's only partially true. Like, my M16 that I was issued at boot camp was the cleanest in the platoon. So clean, in fact, that I was rewarded with 1 hour of fire watch to every night until the battalion commander inspection to clean the rest of the platoon's weapons to the same caliber that mine was.
Is that kind of like getting 8 hours of sleep?
Yeah. You're mandated 8 hours of sleep. Do you always get the 8 hours of sleep? Yeah.
It's the law. Don't know how important the law is.
No, but I'm very happy I enlisted. As many jokes as I make, college would have been a waste of money for me, and I'm very happy to be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, college is just one of those, like, this is one of those situations where the word choice that people use is really important. So people told me that I was going to have a hard time deciding what to do with all of the freedom, and what I heard was I'm going to have a hard time deciding what to do with all the free time. That's not what they said. That's what I heard. No, you don't have just an abundance of free time. You have this weird kind of freedom that just, you have 8 hours. There's 5 hours worth of work that needs to get done. But nobody's going to check on you to make sure it did. The only thing that's going to suffer is your grades and your future. So, that means there's 3 hours in there, and maybe an hour of it's going to be taken up by the just stuff you need to do. So there's 2 hours of real free time in there. Now, you have to make decisions about how you're going to distribute it and what you're going to do with it. And really, it wasn't as hard for me as I thought it might have been, but there were some people who struggled mightily. Like, 4 a.m. started their homework for their class that had to be done at 8 a.m. the next day. So, college is weird. It's difficult, but not in the way that I thought it would be. There's a lot more morons than I thought there would be.
It's almost like I said a similar thing not too long ago.
Everyone's stupid.
The next step after high school is pretty similar and yet different at the same time throughout, but there's a lot of similar characteristics. Yeah.
Something you got to keep in mind. In any group of people, think about how stupid the average one of them is. You got to realize that 50% of them are stupider than that. And that's fucking depressing.
Look at us being all high and mighty.
I've adopted this weird belief that I'm not very good, but compared to the people around me, you know.
It's like a teenage girl.
Alright, tell them what changed about your zombie loadout. Shotgun changed.
Yeah, I changed my shotgun. I decided that I didn't want a 28-inch barreled shotgun.
That thing is obscene.
Yeah, it's a pretty long weapon.
What's the magazine on that thing hold? He's got this 870 that's got a 28-inch barrel with a flush magazine, too.
Yeah, I don't know if I did a video about it yet, but that holds 10 rounds. I think this is like 7 or 8. I don't know. I actually have not loaded this.
Is that a 20 or a 24?
The barrel?
Yeah.
I think it's 18. 18 and a half.
I think it's gotta be 20. Because a foot's like there.
No. About 4 inches.
You just measured with a shoe. That's not actually.
That's about 12
inches. That's not
inches.
actually what a foot is. Yeah.
It's about 12
They just
inches.
call it that.
Because the average foot is about 12 inches.
Should put less stake in what length people tell you the average is. Yeah. Can you tell it's been a little while since we've done this?
Yeah. Yeah, another thing about boot camp, everyone gets sick at boot camp. And I got sick 2 weeks before I left for boot camp, and I'm still sick. So that's like 16 weeks of coughing.
Sounds fucking awesome.
I'm done. I'm ready to be done coughing. Believe me. Like, I'm ready for the day that I wake up and cough 0 times that. Anyway, my Zompok loadout. I decided to break out my H-harness that I got one back when I airsofted. Yeah, that was a blast from the past. Fucking... I don't have a Molly adapting holster for the 1911. What my other loadout was, that I don't think I did a video on that either, was I had a leather holster similar to that for the 1911. I had a shoulder holster that's a universal shoulder holster for whatever, but I would put the Judge in that and 2 magazines for the 1911 in the other piece, and then 2 on a other piece. I don't know why I'm calling it a piece. And then I'd have that belt that would carry 25 shotgun shells. And I think that's what it was. Oh, and the cold steel leather neck. But now it's, I brought out the H-harness. And what I used as a holster when I airsofted was a radio pouch. And so did Logan.
Yep. They were a lot cheaper and they worked pretty much the same.
They worked very well. It's like, look at this shit.
Yeah, that was like $8, and the very similarly designed holster was like $32.
Yeah.
And we were working with like allowance and mowing lawns at the time.
Yeah, we weren't old enough to have real jobs. And so anyway, 1911 goes in there. I don't have any holster for the Judge.
So he's just gonna squeeze it between his cheeks.
I'm gonna put it between my butt cheeks. That's what I'm gonna do.
What the fuck are you actually gonna do?
I was about to say I don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet.
I'm gonna squeeze it between his cheeks.
It's gonna go in a pocket probably. Then I have the bayonet, which could be affixed to my shotgun. Wow, you were obscene. Heinous. Trash ass civilian. Completely unacceptable.
Yeah?
Yes.
Like this?
Yes. Don't do that. I've been touching my face so much when I got back. Oh, that's another thing. You are not allowed to touch your face at boot camp. Touch your face if you ever go to recruit training. See what happens.
What the fuck doesn't happen?
I don't know. I never touched my face. No, you're not allowed to touch your face because that's how germs are spread, and it teaches discipline, I suppose. And if you like touch your face, you get IT'd, which is it's basically like a CrossFit workout, but the drill instructor chooses the pace. See, I touched my face, and the drill instructor chooses the pace and what you do and the intensity. Well, as much as another person can choose the intensity that you work out at. And
Be surprised.
The length of how long you do it. And so that's one form of punishment that they do. That's the individual one. They call it IT. It stands for like incentive training or intensive training. Sometimes they would ask, hey, if you can tell me what IT stands for, you won't get IT'd. And you're never right. You're never right.
In general, not just for that
Yeah.
question. Just every question for the whole 13 weeks or whatever.
Yeah. Like, I got IT'd once, and when you pass a drill instructor, you're supposed to give them the proper greeting of the day, which is, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, sir. And I passed a drill instructor, and I didn't say it. And, because he was, there was a line of recruits waiting to get their uniforms inspected, and I was passing him to go use the head. And I even thought the words, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't say it. Nah, he's busy. And as soon as I pass him, he goes, 0, who the fuck was that, Ciciora? Yeah, I was Ciciora for 13 weeks. Not Sikora, Ciciora. And it's just, shit. Yes, sir. So you just want to walk past me without giving the proper greeting of the day, right? And, did I want to? No. But what the correct answer is yes. So I answered, yes, sir. He goes, oh, so you think you run shit around here, right? And you could argue with him, and it would make it worse. So I said, yes, sir. He goes, well, you better get on the quarterdeck and start mountain climb before I get fucking mad. And so I did. And Marine Corps mountain climbers are different, by the way. You bring the fucking heel of your foot has to pass your fingertips. And also, the pace has to be like, or else you get fucked at. Or you get fucked at. You get fucked with and yelled at. And
you get fucked at.
You get fucked at.
That's where, like, he brings in a girl, fucks her, and then the cum shot is towards you.
Fucks at you.
It doesn't hit you. You're, like, 20 feet away.
It's towards you, though. It's like Monty Python. I fuck at your general direction. Anyway, I thought he forgot that I was there, because I was there for, like, a good half hour. Like, my hands were slipping, because the deck is concrete in the squad bays. My hands were slipping. I had to keep adjusting them. There was a big old puddle of sweat right beneath my face. Like, I looked like I had just been dunked in a bucket of water. And he just looks at me, aye, aye, sir. And I ran as fast as I could back to my fucking rack.
The fuck away from there.
Yeah. Anyway, like what I was doing originally. I have 2 magazines incorporated into this. I have 5 magazines total for the 1911, but I only have 2 of them incorporated in the H harness. And tactical fanny pack mounted on my left side, which I... Oh, wait. Hey, here's another magazine pouch. I could have another magazine here.
Surprise.
And fucking some shit in here. And the main pack, or the main pouch, I'm just going to have shotgun shells in because there's really not a whole lot of convenient ways to store or carry shotgun shells.
No.
And so, like, the most convenient we've found is either stuffing your pockets full of them or getting a tactical fanny pack.
No, like, I've seen... Part of the worst part is those systems where, like, you have a pouch that folds open and then you have just rows of shotgun shells. I don't want to be, like... Things have to be so bad before... Neither Chad nor I have side saddles right now. But I have 5 in my tube, 1 in the chamber. So 6 times I've pulled the trigger with, like, serious ammunition, like slugs or double-aught buck. And then an additional 6 times I've gone into the chamber, forward, filled up the tube if I had time, or I've just loaded from the breech. And now, so 12 times I've shot, and the threat still hasn't stopped. Now I unzip my pouch, let it fall down, and then they're all in very careful rows. And I have to reach down to a specific spot on the row, pull a shell, breech load, and go. That's so much shittier than just reaching generally into a pouch and pulling out some shell.
A handful of shells. Fucking filling it up.
Like, we've been talking about Zompoc loadouts, and I really like the shotgun, and it's becoming a part of my home defense system. There's no fucking way it's part of my Zompoc loadout. Because one of these holds 30 bangs. That holds 6 bangs.
It's a bigger bang, though.
That is so many fewer. And, like, for some reason, shooting the AR is almost calming for me. Just looking down the sight, just shoot there, breathe, squeeze, 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 there, breathe, squeeze, squeeze, there, breathe. With the shotgun, you're always in a state of panic. I have no idea why. Maybe it's just because I'm new at it, but it's always
yes. Yes.
Like, it's very different than being able to be further away and look down a magnified optic and just... I don't know, it's a very different attitude for some reason.
I would have to agree, actually. Like, I feel a little more comfortable because I own fucking 4 shotguns and 0 semi-automatic rifles.
Yeah, we gotta get you an AR soon.
Eventually.
So soon on the docket, my dad and I are either buying or building a 308 AR. I see appeals both ways. I think at the current moment we're leaning a little toward buying. I'm not sure. We'll keep you guys updated. So your current Zompoc loadout is the 590, just as it is.
Well, there's not a whole lot you can fucking do to it. It came with screws already on the stock for a side saddle, so I'm thinking of getting a side saddle for the stock. Maybe the fucking receiver. I'm also thinking about, like, sling options, but what I wanted to do was, I have a 1-point sling that I have on my airsoft gun, and what it is basically a little piece that goes in between the stock and the receiver with a loop on it for the sling mount. Now, I kept meaning to buy one of those, and when I don't have money, they have plenty of them. When I do have money, there's 0 of them.
Yeah, no, like that, the 500 is something else. So if you're gonna replace the barrel and the magazine tube, and if you're gonna be changing lengths and capacities, it's better to just do them at the same time, because your barrel has to bolt onto the magazine tube at the correct spot. And so if I get a 20-inch where the lug is out here, then it won't work with this magazine tube. So basically you just buy a kit to make it easy on yourself, and that kit is out of stock everywhere. Forever. It's just gone.
No more.
So that's frustrating.
Doesn't exist.
I think I could do just fine with this. I really think it'd be okay.
It works. As far as the whole, like, Mossberg versus Remington thing, they're pretty much the same.
They both go boom.
Yeah. Like, I have more experience with my Remington, but they're pretty much the same thing.
I think you have a little bit more in terms of magazine options for the Remington.
But you don't have to move a shell lifter out of the way to load it. You know, Nothing Fancy has like a 40-minute video about the comparison between Mossberg and Remington. You should go watch that.
That's fine. So yeah, Chad ships off again here in like 2 more days. We should have been making videos, but we were both just
doing stuff.
I don't know if stressed out is the right, like... I wasn't stressed out and I wasn't burned out, but I didn't want to do anything. So I didn't. Which was awesome. Girlfriend broke up with me. I had like $400 I was going to take her skiing with. And
instead he bought a shotgun.
Well, basically.
Better choice? I think so.
So, that was a bummer. We were together for over a year.
You've been together on and off since the 8th grade.
7th grade.
The 7th grade.
Yeah.
That's like 6 years.
Yeah, no, it was, it was miserable for a little bit, but,
don't worry about it. They're doomed to get married. I'm serious. I made this prediction the 3rd time they broke up.
Yes, he did.
And it's playing into my prediction perfectly. My prediction, they're going to try to stay together through college. They're not going to be able to because the distance will be too much. So far, that's what's happening. But what's going to happen, they finish college, they start their careers, and then they plateau. They're going to try to date other people, yeah, but it's not going to be the same because they're both very hard to coexist with. And, they've never been able to, be the same with other people the way they have been with each other. I'm not finished yet. And so what's going to happen? They're going to try with other people. It's not going to work. That's fine. And they're going to get their career set up. They're going to get their house, and their life will plateau. It will become boring. Then they'll see each other on Facebook, I guess, or something. And they'll just, hey, what's up? Nothing. What's up with you? Nothing. Are you still single? Yes, I am. Are you? Yes, I am. And they get married and live angrily ever after. Happily ever after.
The point was I broke up with my girlfriend, so I had enough money to not call into work during break. So, people have been texting. I just haven't covered a shift yet. Feels awesome.
I haven't worked it, and that's a lie. They gave me 24 days recruiter's assistance, so I got 24 additional days of being home on top of the 10 days of boot leave. And that's been okay.
It's a job.
Yeah. I feel for the recruiters, seriously.
Yeah, quotas kind of make everything worse. Anyways, for videos that you can expect us to make in 2015, obviously anytime that Chad's back, I'll try to get him in front of the camera. Other than that, it's just free time, especially free alone time at college, is a weirdly scarce thing. And so I didn't get that many chances to record. I'm dropping down to 14 credits from 17 credits, and we'll see what that does. I didn't think I wanted to take my JVC that I'm recording on right now up to school. I ended up doing it anyways. For a class, I had to help videotape some stuff. And
some things.
Yeah. Some objects, doing some actions. And so I don't know, maybe I'll take the camera up, and the iPhone thing just wasn't working. The mic isn't good enough to pick up sound if I'm talking quiet enough that people next door to me can study. Normally when we're recording YouTube, we get to project pretty loud, and when you're working on a wall that's made out of one brick, you just don't get to do stuff like that as much. So, I will definitely, while I'm on break, I will record some more. There's all kinds of stuff that needs reviews, and pretty much everything we put on the table needs a more up-close and personal video. But all kinds of blades that I wasn't ready to review when I left for school, I now am. So the Hoagie X01, and I've got the ProTech TR4 and the ZT560, and at least one Spyderco and one Bird, and all kinds of stuff. So there will be plenty of reviews and stuff, and I'll try to record a lot now so that I can bleed it out and at least, cover a month that I'm up at school. So hopefully you guys will be able to see more videos. We're not quitting by any means, we're just
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I go back up to Pendleton for MCT, I'm going to leave him with the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 because he can make a 40-minute video about a knife, and I can make a 12-minute video about a knife.
It's just about the knives, nothing else.
I can cry for 40 minutes, but I'm done after 12.
Bullshit. I cried for much longer than that. It's not my fault. There was whiskey involved.
A tennis ball for some reason, and a barrel of mandarin oranges.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for continuing to watch when we take long breaks and everything like that, and hopefully we'll be able to have some more interesting videos here in January and then bleeding into the months thereafter. So, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more of the same.
Ready, move.
Kill.